This next discussion, with its compelling title, is, I'm sure, even more compelling in content. It is called The Rise of the Power Middle. Mid career women are the backbone of organizations, redefining leaderships, influence, and career growth. And in today's workforce, mid career roles are predominantly occupied by Gen Z women. Often overlooked in corporate strategies, these women are not just climbing the ladder but reshaping it entirely. So, this session explores how mid career women can harness their expertise, navigate workplace dynamics, and pave their careers. Women leaders, TA heads, workplace culture enablers, and innovators will discuss how companies can better support this critical talent segment and skills that will future proof mid career professionals and what the next decade holds for women navigating the modern workforce. Our panelists are Sekar J, Associate Vice President HR Amararaja, Padmini Priyadarsini Gorthi, Head of Kone Design, India, and Jyothi Swargam, Associate Director of the Aura Division at Hexagon. The session will be moderated by Eswar Balasubramanian from Avtar. So, Shekhar J is an MBA from Bharatiya School of Management and certified in Strategic HRM from IIMA. He has an honors diploma in information systems management. He's trained as a facilitator by International Facilitators Association, Singapore, and as a business excellence assessor in CII, um, business excellence. Um, he's undergone extensive training in transactional analysis under International Transactional Analysis Association and transactional analysis for organizational development. He has in depth experience in organizational culture building, large scale interactive programs, leadership development, change management, talent acquisition, and strategic HRM. He's been chosen as one of the 100 most influential leaders by Employer Branding Institute. He's been adjudged as Great Manager by People, Business, and Economic Times. Since 2006, he's been a part of Amararaja Group, presently playing the role of AVP HR at the group level, handling OD, L&D, and talent acquisition. Welcome, Mr. Shekhar. Mrs. Padmini has over 18 years of experience in the architecture and planning industry and currently leads the design division at Kone, India. She's spent 10 plus years with Kone and brings with her extensive international experience, having worked in India, the USA, and UAE. In addition to her current role, she holds several parallel leadership positions. She's a global lead for Kone's Women ERG. She's a chairperson of the ITEC Women's Talent Council, and she's the presiding officer of the POSH, Prevention of Sexual Harassment Committee. Padmini has previously served as the innovation manager for ITEC from 2013 to 2021. She's also certified in design thinking from IIM Ahmedabad. And our final uh, panelist is Jyothi Swargam from Hexagon. She received her master's from Louisiana State University in the US. She has over 15 years of professional experience of being a product and technology leader of Hexagon R&D India. And Jyothi currently drives the end-to-end SW development of Hexagon's latest 3D digital twin imaging system called Aura. Welcome, Jyothi. Welcome, Padmini. The session will be moderated by Mr. Eswar Balasubramanian from Avtar, heading the outreach programs at Avtar Human Capital Trust and Project Putri. Eswar is a management postgraduate in finance and HR from Anna University with over 17 plus years of work experience. Having joined Avtar as a management trainee and who is now raised to leadership levels, he's a seasoned HR professional with well-honed expertise in handling large clientele. He has completed a very specialized leadership certification program from Indian Institute of Management, Kozhikode. His indulgence in free coaching classes for the needy and community service has led him to handle his current role with a greater sense of purpose. Welcome, Ishwar sir. Thank you, and over to Ishwar, who will take the session forward.
Thanks, Mudra. So that was so nice of you to really talk about and introduce all of us. So absolutely my pleasure. So good afternoon to all the audience out here. So right from morning, I could just see that it's absolutely the hall is filled with about more than the 500 plus audience all over. and so the sessions are going really excellent, and I'm sure that equally this discussion is going to be more interesting, and because this is again, it's very close to our hearts, and kind of, and I think with all of you, I'm also going to just learn from all the eminent speakers out here. So hi, Sekar, Jyothi, and Padmini. So good to really have you as part of this panel, and absolutely I'm thrilled to have this discussion with all of you. To get started with, so the topic itself is again very interesting, the rise of the power middle. So as we all know, kind of middle career women are the backbone of organizations, redefining leadership, influence, and career growth. And today's workforce, mid-career roles are predominantly occupied by Gen Z women and often overlooked in corporate strategies. These women are not just climbing the ladders, but reshaping it entirely. This session, let's explore how mid-career women, how they can harness their expertise, navigate workplace dynamics, and pave their careers. So let's now discuss how companies can better support this critical talent segment, skills that will be a future proof for the mid-career professionals, and what the kind of next decade holds for women navigating the modern workplace. So today, so we will have again a lot of other corporate audience have also joined. So it's going to be an enlightening discussion about this. To start off, so I would like to first of all kind of throw up a question in terms of the rise of the power middle. And we really hear that. What is that which comes to your mind? Padmi, you can just get started with.
Okay. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. And it's such a pleasure to be part of this esteemed panel. I've had the pleasure of meeting the fellow panelists this morning, and thank you for hosting this call, Eswar. So when I think of the power middle, and I think it's such a intriguing term, Usually the middle is not really considered, in the scheme of things. Even in our scriptures and everything, we always talk about Adi Anta. We talk about the start. We talk about the end. We rarely talk about the middle. But I think for women, the middle is where a lot of new beginnings happen. It could be, where in our environment, it could be stepping into marriage. It could be stepping into motherhood. It could be stepping into the next position of in your career. So many new beginnings are happening in the middle, and I think it has not been spoken enough, and not enough support system has been created there. Not enough importance has been given, and I think compared to the other gender where it is considered a smooth flow, I think this is more of a lot of stopping of things that have been happening before, and then stepping up to the next challenge itself. It could be, like I mentioned, marriage, motherhood, positions, whatever. And I think this is great that we are having this discussion today. So yeah, here's to making the middle more powerful now.
Absolutely, we will. And so that was really powerful, Padmi. And as you rightly said, it's a most happening time, professionally and personally. And I think yes, let's try and navigate the further ways for it. So yeah, Jyoti, your comments, please.
Yeah, as Padmini was also talking about middle part, most things break at middle, and it's inevitable. And so, how do you actually kind of like navigate through the top leaders to the young leaders in the corporate and actually make a difference for yourself while your biological clock and your career clock are completely conflicting at that exact time period of your mid-level career? So it's like when your kids are at 10th grade, or maybe they have their own navigation to go forward, and where you as a mom have to cater for that. At the same time, you are the leader, or you are getting into the steps of the leadership, and you are trying to understand what the top-notch stakeholders are telling you. At the same time, the youngsters, what are they feeling? So you kind of like are in the middle and juggling between these things, and quite a bit of navigation has to happen, quite a bit of sponsorship and influence that you have to create in the journey of the middle management. And yeah, extra power to all the women right there. Why not? I think we can make the world change, and we are almost at the how do I say, change curve, and I think the leap is far nearer than what I would have expected previously. Yeah, sure.
Absolutely brilliant, Jyothi. And yes, Shekhar, your opening comments, please.
Yes. Good. In an organization as well, the real change happens at the middle management, at the middle, right? Top, they say, is driven by the market and the numbers. The bottom is inspired by the top. The middle is the one which is actually left out. And in many cuts, if you see, it's cut out. So it happens even in the organization, irrespective of the gender, middle management band. But that's where the real change happens. Now, if we can change there, if we can make a difference in bringing in women into that management band, it is going to make tangible changes to organization. And in a place like India, we are lucky to be in India, I should say, because there is help available. There is I mean the outlook of women in India is different from other parts of the world, right? At the same time, we are also living in extremes. So therefore, we worship women and we also kill girl babies. So that's a kind of society that we live in. So we need to be, and an organization is a microcosm of the society. So let's see how we need to bring in the mindset change within the organization, as well as the people who are wanting to break into that ceiling to make a big difference. That will be my opening comments. Thank you.
Great, Shekhar. Yes, that's so true. And so the mid-career women are the kind of backbone for organizations, and yet they remain overlooked in the leadership pipeline. And as we all know, the statistics where there's about just 6 to 7% of women represent the leadership levels as such. Still that slowly that things are changing, but again, a lot more things to be done. So, what are the biggest systematic barriers keeping the mid-career women for advancing, and what's the one powerful step they can take to break through these invisible ceilings, Shekhar? I think from the HR perspective, I think you can really take on and share your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I'll take some of the thoughts shared by Jyothi and Padmini. Here, in a career growth, see what we have seen in our organization, it's really easy for us to bring in people at the entry level. We have, as a manufacturing organization, in a battery making kind of industry, we have close to 30% of women at the
great.
junior most level, right? It's easy. But then as they go through different important life events, that is when the churn happens. There are a lot of people who drop out after marriage. There are a lot of people who drop out after kids. So that is where we also, the organization is facing a challenge, and we need to bring them back after that. So that is where, and a company like us, we are open. But then when we ask, however, we cannot dilute the requirements of a middle manager, right? A manager of a department or a large team. We cannot dilute it too much, right? So when we look at people who can come and say that, okay, now these are the responsibilities that you have to handle. Many times we have seen people who are saying, hey, okay, now if it is there's so much that we need to do, will I be able to balance? Will I be able to meet the expectations? So this doubt comes into people's mind, and despite having a support system within the organization. So this is something which we are attempting to address. Then we need to we have some distance to travel in that. So this is what we are saying, and people at the top is also rather. I mean, we are finding it easier to recruit, or easier people who have moved. We have crossed that bridge, crossed that difficult period. After that, it is a cakewalk for them.
Absolutely, that's very interesting points you made, Shekhar. So I think at that middle level, I think they should sustain and be more intentional and really be resilient to really come up and be consistent to really put their efforts to really get to that level. And as an organization, that's something very critical, I can understand. So, Padmini, so what do you think, again, the invisible ceilings, which is there where they need to really break through? So, as a leader, which you have actually passed through those ceilings as such, invisible ceilings, and you have reached some amazing level right now. So where you're handling some global roles currently. So what do you think are those invisible ceilings?
I think we do have quite a few actually, and sometimes when we think about it, there's the first is the reluctance from ourselves. That's one of the biggest barrier. And then when you look at, the intentions from the organization, the organization usually has its heart at the right place. But then there is always, these trainings could be about, one size fits all kind of trainings. And then sometimes people just don't address that, the broken step on the ladder. So how do we get them to address those kind of things? And often we also don't look at things like we give so much focus on mentorship, but we don't talk enough about sponsorship. So these are the kind of what do you call it, the blockades that we have to break through. And all of these form, I feel, the invisible barriers or the invisible ceilings that you really need to break through. Because once you have done it, then people are thinking, okay, if she can do it, then I can do it too. And like I said, we are focused so much on people who are coming in new. So we are giving them inductions and trainings. What can we do, well for the younger lot that's coming in? And then we are focused on leadership trainings and other things for the seniors. But what do we do for the people who are in the middle, who are neither fitting here nor there, but they who have the potential, and how do we take them? I think one thing that I'm very proud of is for example, the GLOW program that we have in my organization, which is basically GLOW, Growth and Leadership for Outstanding Women. This is actually focused at the mid-career women. So picking people with potential, and it is an extensive program spread over many months. And you would be amazed at the kind of what do you call it, the parts in the program. You have a Toastmaster Club, and you have this kind of speaking. They do a project and so much. And the result of the program has also been that many of these participants have now stepped into their next jobs, next positions in their career. And probably the other thing we also forget at mid-career is people are always thinking of the move very vertically, and they forget about the lateral move. So that's another barrier that I think we need to think. So there's so much when you think of moving laterally. So yeah.
Very, very interesting points, Padmini, and very interesting about GLOW. And I think a lot more very intense programs are needed, as you rightly said, to really kind of help them out to really navigate their path further and grow. So my next question to Jyothi. Jyothi, as a leader, so you have actually you've been a fast tracker, and at this age you have reached at a very, very senior level, like handling different global projects in healthcare. So Gen Z women, right, are stepping into mid-career roles with different expectations from previous generations as such, right? And how can they challenge the outdated workplace norms and advocate for themselves effectively and reshape their leadership from within? So your points and thoughts about it, Jyothi.
Sure, Eswar. Basically, when you are in the mid-level career, you're dealing with traditional leadership, and you're mostly dealing with traditional men leadership, where you barely have any women right around the corner to kind of like lean forward and take that support. Having said that, the traditional ways of doing, probably Gen Z may not sync well. They are like quick thinkers, making things happen, and they would want to see the career growth right around the corner. They don't want to have translucent ways of moving forward, rather more transparent ways of taking their steps forward. And all that, I think organizations have to deal with. At the same time, sometimes there could be the traditional old ways of doing things, and it's tough to change the top leadership in a day, certainly, right? But then as a Gen Z, maybe you could continue to be the leader who you want to be, and that would actually create a good set of ripple effect that actually kind of like comes back and pays back you, wherein there's quite a bit of youngsters. What I see is I have kind of broken some glass ceilings for sure, and then certainly I have felt the stint like, okay, I'm not able to cut through the other usual traditional leadership. But having said that, when I have set up my way of leadership mindset across laterally as well as up the ladder, it so happened that my Teams chat or my phones keep ringing, my WhatsApp keeps ringing, saying that, okay, hey, Jyothi, I would want to join your team. Okay, there's quite a bit of ripple effect that happens, and Gen Zs would want to actually join me, which is absolute pleasure, and also sometimes a lot of how do I say, competition that I have to pick and choose out of that. But absolutely, I mean, I think you still continue to be the leader who you want to be. There could be slow ripple effects that would cause in your own peer group, in your own set of leadership. At the same time, subtle changes in the top leadership as well as in the young leaders. So I think it's mostly within that you could do for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely, Jyoti, because I've seen kind of been I've thousands of uh, 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 candidates and people who I've interviewed. I could just see that there is a shift absolutely happening,
Absolutely.
and I think the hybrid working is also actually post COVID. I think the entire thing is the work style and everything has really got changed, and I think a lot of new norms is coming into the workplace right now. So as you rightly said, so we need to as a leaders, I think the adoption and again, so as middle career women, so we need to really adopt and prove in terms of our models work, and so that's something very important. So my next question to Sekar. So Sekar, like organizations often focus on early career talent or senior leadership, leaving middle career professionals in a gray zone, right? So, what are companies getting wrong about supporting mid-career women, and what policies or programs can create real impact, Shekhar? I think it's not muting for you. Roy, can you just help Shekhar to really unmute? Okay. Meanwhile, Roy, do that. So let me. So Padmini, can you just please share in terms of what are the kind of how companies where they're going wrong, and so how they can actually put a best policies and programs to really create a real impact there, Padmini.
Yes, definitely. I think one of the key aspects is we have. I think many organizations, they have very limited flexibility and very little support system. So I think that is something that we could would say clear and create for our middle career women. And also there is also, I think, often there is a clear lack of would say career pathways. How do you advance your career? So that could be something that could be taken care of. And also, if you look at promotion criteria, often there is a lot of not much clarity around it. So transparent promotion criteria could help. Maybe specific leadership programs for mid-career women could help. And when I talk about flexibility, I think when we should have flexibility without stigma. We are always talking about flexibility, but there is also a stigma attached to it, that, oh, you are a woman, so you are getting the flexibility, or oh yeah, tomorrow she will not be in office because she has to take it. I think along with flexibility, there's a lot of stigma that's attached, unfortunately, and that is something we need to remove. And I feel that can be removed when the leadership and the senior leadership kind of adopts flexibility as a norm. And if I take care of flexibility in my team, and if I tell people, hey, tomorrow I'm working from home, then I think my people would not feel so shy to do that. This kind of just normalizing this kind of things, normalizing flexibility, normalizing taking sick leave or these kind of things. And especially for women, I think we're also very hesitant to tell people we are not feeling 100% today. I think when we normalize those kind of things, it takes away the stigma. I think all of these kind of things are very, very essential. And for an organization to walk the talk, it is you need all the allies you can get. You need the male allies in hand, but I think the women also need to kind of need to stay in support of each other. So be vocal. And in my case, I'm always telling people I have a village helping me raise my kids. I am no superwoman. I ask for all the help I can get. I'm probably a very average mother, and these kind of things. I don't mind owning up. I don't mind saying, what, today I forgot to ensure that my son did his homework, or whatever. I think it's okay. The moment we start pretending we are superwomen, and my son is getting 100%, I'm giving 100% at work, and no, we were not born with wings. We are not going to grow wings any day. So I think it's okay. And I also like to tell people the bravest thing you can do is ask for help. Ask for help, ladies. It's okay. No one survives without help. So please do ask for help. That's something I would tell.
Yes, absolutely, Padmini. And yes, flexibility, always, Dr. Rajesh used to say, so flexibility is oxygen for women's career, and ultimately it also comes with productivity. That's something very critical. So I share your points in terms of where they are going wrong, and so what create to really make a real impact.
Eswar, if you can repeat the question.
Yeah, so I was talking about so what kind of again policies and frameworks or the programs which the organizations can create, right, to really kind of make the middle career professionals to really grow, and especially women. So what kind of programs they can really do to really make that real impact, Sekar?
All right. Couple of things is right now we do not have enough women in the candidates and in those things. So we need to build more people to come in to take up those roles, right? And flexibility definitely is a thing that has to be there. And it is not flexibility not only for women candidates, it has to be for everybody, because that is one thing which actually kills this process. Right now, if I have 10% of women and 90% of men working, and flexibility is given only to these 10%, others may not come out openly in objection to this. However, there will be a lot of covert things that can happen which will scuttle this entire process. So when you say flexibility, treat everybody equally. So there is no special privileges, if you ask me, to be given to earlier they used to call, but in these days we are there. Nobody's using that word, diversity candidates, right?
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
so there's nothing needed. All are same, right? Because we don't differentiate in CTC. We don't differentiate in policies, extra leaves, and stuff like that. So it's the same. And if flexibility is a requirement for women in that level, it is equally required for men.
So true.
And that's something which we need to slowly build that mindset. It's not going to happen over a day or a week or a month. We need to build that. So then it becomes normalized. So that's something which we have found in one of the things, and we of course have a few things which are women specific. For example, in one of our plants, in our electronics plant, women have longer lunch time. Feeding mothers, nursing mothers have longer lunch times, lunch breaks, and there as a policy we or as a practice and policy we take people from within 5 kilometer radius of that plant. It's an electronics plant. We have 70% plus women there, and many of them go home, see the babies, and come back during the lunchtime. So we allow that, and when they come back, if they are 10-15 minutes late for the work, those things are accepted as normal practice. So this is a very specific practice, which we are fortunate to be able to practice that in that location. Not sure if the same thing can be done everywhere, right? So that way, we need to have specific custom-made policies which has to be made, and that's what I would think, right? So get it, tell everyone, hey, we are in this world, we want everybody. So you and there's no special treatment we are giving to anybody, right? Let's treat everybody equal and do it. That's something which we have learned over years of when we attempted some of these, or when we had tried to discuss and create a mindset change with some of these practices. This is the feedback we got, and we said, fine, yeah, of course, yes, why not? We initially been little unidirectional, and then we become a little open to say that, hey, yes, this is also true. Why not? So that those are things that has to be done.
So true, Shekhar. Yes, because the career track is not equal for men and women, though. But yeah, as you rightly said, those little flexibility or whatever the terms we use, but I think those are needed, and I think that's very critical for them as such. So my next question is for Jyothi. So Jyothi, like many mid-career women juggle leadership ambition with external responsibilities, right? So being it caregiving or financial security or personal growth. So, what strategies can help them design careers that are both high impact and personally fulfilling without burning out, right? Because that's something that balancing is very critical. So, what are those? Jyoti?
So, I would say for everyone, try to get a seat at the table. I mean, always strive to get that. I mean, if they don't give you a seat, try to bring your own folding chair to the meeting so that you make a presence of yourself. I mean, sometimes women have this imposter syndrome internally where they're like, okay, self-doubting about themselves. Am I right for this position? Am I actually fulfilling all my roles and responsibilities? All that need to be kind of like shunned down, and you need to calm yourself around it. So don't self-doubt. Maybe you have to have your cohort of leadership, women leadership, of cohort of friends and peers who could help you strategize and think. And certainly, for Gen Z, if it is not a high impact and fulfilling career, I'm doubtful they might take a route outside. And so for them, maybe as organizations, what we can do is to clearly, transparently tell them what could be the rightful path for them, what could happen to them if they actually step into the middle management positions, or for that matter, even above that. And certainly, I would say there are few things. You need to build your tribe. As middle managers, you clearly need to build your tribe. The tribes could be of your people who would give you honest feedback in your organization, people who give you who are your career champions, who are actually giving you that push, that nudge to take further steps into it. Certainly, there are others like mentorship, coaching. I mean, that had given me quite a bit of an eye-opening scenario where, wow, okay, I should not self-doubt myself. Rather, I should actually try to step in with a little bit of knowledge. I mean, you're never completely qualified for the next position. You can never wait for until the next position to be qualified. Rather, you step in with some level of knowledge and then further grow in that and learn and grow into that. So that is also another. And connectors, and certainly there are few people who are like power people, where you have your stakeholders, top management. Try to make a connect, try to find a seat for yourself at that table where that huge top notch leaders are actually discussing and bringing points to you, and make sure you are not unheard. Rather, you make your point and they are hearing it to you. So I mean, just to give you a one bit of story of mine, where our CTO was visiting for the first time Switzerland to India, and I was barely a young leader. I would call me myself a small manager for that matter at that point. And so I took charge. I went to him and I said, hey, I would want to partner with you whenever you are unveiling this new product. And wherein he had no idea about me, what I do, what I bring to the table, what's my educational qualification, or for that matter. But then I was like, let me try it. And then I ran to him while he was about to travel to his flight, where I just was like, okay, by the way, you know what, Burkhard, our CTO back then of one division, I said, hey, I come in with a civil engineering qualification. I did my master's in Louisiana State University. And that kind of like, okay, after that, I actually delivered. I delivered in a very perfect way that particular presentation and that whole unveiling of a new product. And after that, that ripple effect was like, okay, in 2 years, he asked me to actually lead a division with no questions asked. There you go. Go ahead, try and test your waters. And then when I have done it and I've proved myself, it's from that point on, it's a step forward for me all the time. So yeah, I think the self-doubt needs to be handled, the imposter syndrome needs to be handled, and then right mentoring and right coaching from the organization would actually bring the Gen Zs where they are supposed to be. Yeah.
Absolutely, Jyothi. And yeah, so everybody at different levels, but especially when we really grow, I think this self-belief is something very important, and self-doubts, which again, I think sponsorship and mentorship would really help in those lines. And Padmini, like again, as a leader, again, you have really kind of really grown as a very tall leader right now in terms of after balancing out your personal life and also professional life. So balancing it out, it's always a kind of again a big questions to be answered. And so how do what kind of points you can really share with the audience in terms of how you have managed it and how you did that right?
Okay, I think it's always first loving what you do. As cliche as it may sound, to me it works. It may not be everyone's philosophy, but for me it is. So I have always tried to work in design, which is my passion, and but at the same time, not just stay there, but stretch beyond. I'm an architect and urban designer, and today I lead design at Kone, where we have industrial design, service design, experience design, user experience design. And trust me, 10, 12 years ago, I had no idea what is service design. And today I lead, a wing, one of the four verticals I lead is service design. So be open to learning, you don't have to learn 10 different things, but try to expand in the area. The world is changing constantly. We hear it all the time. And what my education was all about physical design, architecture and urban design was all about physical design. But what is core in all of this is the people, the end users, the impact you can have on the users. So today we also work with digital design, which I never suspected, 15 years ago that I would be doing anything in the digital design space. But today we are working equally with that. I think just being open to those opportunities, at the same time, always ready to learn, be it from the younger ones. Trust me, the younger ones have so much more to teach. I think they bring so much in. At the same time, being humble enough to learn from the people who have been there before you. I think all of those things work. And at the same time, I think not looking at everything as what is there for me. Do not go with that attitude, but is it, look at this and look at it this way, that would I enjoy doing it? Would I love doing it? That is my mantra. So not about would I get a pay rise? Would I get a better promotion? Or, nothing wrong with that. Some people can also do that. But for me, it has always been that, can I learn a little bit more? Can I make a difference? So for me, ambition is that when I do something, when Padmini does this, no one does it like her. That's the kind of mark I want to leave behind. So that's kind of my ambition. And then everything else falls in place. And also volunteering, jumping up, even now. Despite my schedule, sometimes people ask me, don't you have a heavy workload, and you seem to be doing like 10 different things at any given time. But I have, I think, a little child who keeps jumping up and saying, hey, I will do this, I will volunteer for this, I will go on that site visit or whatever. I think keep that. And also I say for the ladies, do not worry about what others think. There have been people who have told me that, do you remember, you are a woman, you are this age. And I said, so what? I enjoy what I do, and to hell with it. If I want to volunteer for this, I'm going to do it. I think all of those help. That's why today I am also sitting on this panel, because DEI was never anything that I considered. It just happened because I continue to do things I believe in, working with the women, working with diversity, equity, and inclusion, and these kind of things. So today I'm considered a DEI champion, which is a like a bonus, but it was not something I started to work for. So yeah.
Absolutely. So love what you do, and again, volunteering is again very very important. So aspect to really learn, and I think as Jyothi rightly said, so going up to your again higher ups, and again confidently going up and just taking extra responsibilities really matters. So
Maybe
as we have, yes,
yes. So one point I also wanted to add is, as senior women, and today as a senior woman, one of the things I love doing is sponsoring other women. They may not even know they're being sponsored, but always on the lookout for those talents, and then doing my bit to return back what I have enjoyed. That is, I think, something that we all also need to do. So there are women, or talents, not necessarily women, but talents in the people I come across, whom I try to sponsor, sometimes visibly, sometimes they don't even have to know it, but that's something we all have to do as senior leaders.
Absolutely
absolutely,
agreed.
absolutely, Padmini. And
Yeah.
actually,
Quick
yeah.
point, Eswar, there.
One point.
Yes, Sekar.
Sure.
Just one point. See,
Yes.
look at our the society around, and every year we read in newspaper, the girls in 10th standard, 12th standard have always scored higher than the boys. Correct? That's something that has been that's always been there, and we know very well that women are much better in multitasking because they think in different ways. That's the way they are wired, and men are wired that we are a lot more linear in our thinking. So they are fantastic in multitasking, right? Now they have the knowledge, they have the IQ, they are good in multitasking. What more is needed if to be successful in the middle management or even higher management, right? Nothing more. It's just a matter of people jumping into those roles and doing it. And if they jump in with that mindset, I'm sure they are going to ace it. They will not, and if they are going to get into that with an expectation of wanting to be mollycoddled, wanting to be given special uh, privileges and things like that, it's going to be, they will actually, like what Jyothi was saying, they would not have killed that imposter syndrome in their mind fully. That's what I would say. So I think it's time they jump in and then ace the cards. That's all I would say.
Absolutely brilliant, Shekhar. Like just jump in and do it. So that's the thing. And so yeah, already Mitra is on
That's
video,
what
and I think
Jyothi and Padmini have done here in this
absolutely
case, right? We
correct.
have live examples right
Yes,
in front
yes,
of
yes.
us.
So yeah, to really again, Mitra is here, and so we have another, I think, 2 minutes. So I would like to just hear from all of you the closing note, and especially on the aspect of, you all know that AI is coming up, and everybody is just having. Kind of certain people they have a threat in terms of, are they thinking that whether we will be losing our jobs because of AI. And so, what is that we can really tell all the candidates out here and all the audience out here? So, what are the emerging skills or mindsets will be critical for mid-career women to future-proof their careers, and how they can start building them today? Just 2 points from each of you.
Shall I go ahead?
Yes, Jyothi. Yeah.
Yeah, my
Yes.
2 points would be remain relevant, remain competitive at all steps of the way. It's like as relevant as you could be to what's happening in the landscape of technology, and certainly as competitive as you could be, so that you are upskilling yourself along the way. So these two things would keep you abreast with what's happening, and then actually will yeah, catapult you into a next set of things. Absolutely. So that's for me 2 things.
Excellent, excellent, Jyoti. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes, Padmini, over to you.
Yeah, if I could go next, I would say that be open to learning. It is AI, and more and more stuff is going to keep emerging. So be open to learning, and learn to harness the storm. The storm is coming, yes, but it is a powerful storm, and learn to harness it. So then you are able to wield your power and do better things with it. And I would also say increase your digital presence, because this is, it's all about that. So also increase your digital presence, and like Jyothi said, be relevant, but also be original. And I would, if it is at the end of the day artificial intelligence. So add your inane, what's say, original intelligence to it, I would say, so that can make you your own, original presence felt. So yes.
Being relevant and original intelligence, yes, absolutely, Padmini. And yes, Sekar, from you. So, what are those two things which they need to do?
In the context of AI, please use that as a tool to increase your productivity, and it's not going to take away anything. Take away jobs. We've had many waves of such things happening in the past, and everything had been productive. Right? Starting from Y2K, which made an inflection point for India, right? The Y2K moment. And she may not have experienced that. Some of us have experienced that directly. Right? So, like this AI, please use that as a tool. It's great to in support. It is like a personal assistant sitting next to you, and it's so personal because it's sitting on your phone.
Yeah, Sekar, I think we lost you. Yeah. Am I audible?
You are audible, Ishwar.
Okay, yeah, okay, fine. So great points. So Mitra, we do have time to really take up a few questions, or any questions from the audience, Mitra?
None that I've received so far, but let me check if you
Oh,
can
so,
just wait.
yes. Fine.
Okay, I've just received news that there are no questions from the audience so far.
Great. Okay.
So,
So
yeah.
great. I think so. It was a very interesting discussion. Really, I personally learned a lot, and so we do a lot of work at the grassroots level in terms of building intentionality for underprivileged girl children. And I think in that space, I think so. Right from there, I think this intentionality need to be built, and I think we should have people getting ready for that. And I think we should. Especially women at the middle level. I think the mentorship and again the sponsorship which Padni talked about. So all those things we need to really do that and again step up. And I think so many points got emerged in this discussion. I hope it might be definitely useful for you at this point in time in your career. So best wishes to all of you, and so I hope you would have the rest of the session more again informative. So best wishes to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shekhar. Thanks, Jyothi, and thanks, Padmini. Yeah, pleasure having you in this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Same. Thank you, guys.
Yes, over to you, Mitra.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ishwar, for moderating this very important and relevant discussion. Thank you to the speakers, Shekhar, Padmini, and Jyothi, for your very useful insights. You've beautifully captured India's current corporate landscape and provided us pointers on how to navigate it meaningfully. As a Gen Z woman myself, this was very interesting to witness. Thank you for highlighting the importance of sponsorship, the need for flexibility without stigma, and how organizations can pave clear pathways for mid career women from a policy perspective. So it was also inspiring to see how all of you had learned so much through your job journeys, completely new things that you had no knowledge of before, how you'd stumbled upon skills, identities, and different facets of yourself that are completely new. So that was particularly inspiring for me. And as we come to the end of the events and discussions at this momentous job fair, I'd like to let you all know of the feedback form that is available on the floating bar at the bottom of the platform. We request you to kindly fill this up and let us know what worked and what didn't so we can make this an even better experience for you in the coming years. So please do fill it up. Thank you all for being here.